in the days ahead. I just want the American people to know that this is an opportunity where if there is a will to do permanent tax reform, there is a way to get it done. Mr. President, with that, I yield the floor, and I note the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.
Objection.
I now move to proceed to calendar number 166, H.R. 2832.
Wait. Motion is pending.
Motion to proceed to calendar number 166, H.R. 2832, an act to extend the generalized system of preferences and for other purposes.
Mr. President, I have a cloture motion at the desk.
Clerk will report the cloture motion.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, hereby move to bring to a close the debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 166, H.R. 2832, an act to extend the generalized system of preferences and for other purposes, signed by 17 senators as follows.
I ask consent that the reading of the names be waived, Mr. President.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I ask that the mandatory quorum required under Rule 22 be waived and at 5:30 p.m. Monday, September 19th, the Senate proceed to vote on the motion to invoke cloture on this matter.
Without objection.
Mr. President, first of all, I want everyone within the sound of my voice to understand that I do not like the Colombia Free Trade Agreement, the Korea Free Trade Agreement, or the Panama Free Trade Agreement, and I'll vote against them. But I have been asked on numerous occasions to move these trade matters to the floor. And that's what I have agreed to do, and I'm going to do that. But it is very difficult for me to understand when my Republican colleagues, the Chamber of Commerce and others, support these trade agreements, they want them done, and now I want to move to them, I can't. It's pretty hard for me to comprehend that we have to file cloture on a motion to proceed to the agreement that we have. The agreement that we have is we're going to do the trade adjustment assistance, and then with a few other stops in the middle, we're going to do the free trade agreements. So I again say, this is the pattern we have experienced for the last 8 months. It doesn't matter what it is, something they agree with. We're moving to the free trade agreements, and they're stopping us from doing that. I hope the American people get the picture, and I'm confident they're getting it more clearly every day that goes by. The picture that there isn't a thing that we can bring up here that they don't stall to the very, very limit of the procedures here. So again, we're going to move to these free trade agreements. The first part of the deal, of course, is trade adjustment assistance, and we have to invoke cloture to do this. I think that's a travesty, and it's too bad. I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate completes the business day, it adjourn until 2 p.m. on Monday, September 19th, following the prayer and the pledge. General proceedings be approved to date. The morning hour be deemed expired. The time for the two leaders will be reserved for use later in the day. Following any leader remarks, the Senate will be in a period of morning business until 4:30. Senators permitted to speak for up to 10 minutes. Following morning business, Senate resumed consideration of the motion to proceed to calendar 166, with the time until 5:30 p.m. equally divided between Senators Baucus and Hatch or the designees.
Without objection.
Next roll call vote will be Monday at 5:30. If there's no further business to come before the Senate, I ask that we adjourn under the previous order.
The Senate stands adjourned until Monday, September 19th at 2 p.m.
So the Senate has gavelled out